market review. Let's look at the usual pairs we look at on a Saturday. Let's start with the Dixie. So the Dixie is here. Let's start with that and see what we can see from Dixie. So if we go for the weekly chart first, what we can see here, we had a green candle, and there is a divergence between here and here. So we expect that maybe next week will go up slightly higher, maybe to this point. Another thing to note is you're going to have a dead crossing coming, and with dead crosses you tend to rally into the dead cross and then you then fall after that. So I still expect this box to be filled, although we filled part of it. I still expect this to come back here, and there is a pink candle as well, or a candle of interest which I'm looking for, which is 96.4. So even though we might rally slightly up, I expect this to come back down into this box at some point. If we go to the monthly, you can see clearly that we've exceeded the big selling candle, which is this one, and we've gone lower, which is great. And if we bring it to the weekly again, we closed outside the KC channel, so I expect this to definitely come back down into it. I expect this to come back down one more, similar to how this one here is. You closed outside the KC channel, you go back in, so loop back. There should be a loop back into it somehow before we continue going up. So I'd expect to see that, and also primarily also because of these dead crosses which are coming from the above as well. On the daily chart, it looks good. On the daily chart, we've risen up, we've kind of come back down. So only thing is that we've closed below this candle. So I mean, we could rally up, like we could rally to somewhere here, somewhere there, before we continue the journey to the downside. But there's more downside here on the dollar. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Nasdaq. Let's look at the Nasdaq quickly. So the Nasdaq on the let's start with the weekly chart. Weekly chart, I've got a green candle, close below, closed above the close here. I think we did. Yeah, we closed above the closing candle. For this closing candle is 21,637. Close here is 21,667. So which is good. I think the Nasdaq potentially, although there is a downside to it, especially on the monthly chart, if you look at the volumes have been tailing off here. So volumes have been tailing off, price has been going up. We don't like to see that. We want to see increase in volume. So there is a chance that we could potentially, pull back. However, when we go to the 4 hours and have a look at the 4 hours, actually there is a dead crossing coming on the Nasdaq on the day. Yeah, there's a golden cross. The golden cross here, and wherever there's a golden crossing coming, we tend to, like here, you tend to go up and then dump. So I expect this to maybe go up first and dump. So that's what I'll be looking for. Upside initially, maybe to a double top here, or slightly higher high, and then dump back. That's what I'll be expecting on the Nasdaq. So that's the Nasdaq, and so I will leave my interest box to the upside on that one. Let's go on to the XPX. So the XPX is similar to the Nasdaq. The only difference, the XPX is hardest. It's golden cross, as you can see. So we've had a golden cross. So the golden cross has happened, and as you can see, we did go up slightly after the golden cross, then the dump. So I would expect us to maybe go up a bit more first, maybe try to go up a little bit, to do maybe a double top. There's liquidity sitting here, so we could go up to do a double top before coming down here as well on the 12-hour chart. Yeah, this is an inverted hammer, so, and there's strong volume to it. So I'd expect this to continue to creep up first before we, if there is a collapse. So I expect this to creep up first, but there is liquidity sitting here on this candle here. It's got a lot of liquidity sitting to it, so that would be the ultimate place for it at some point. But for now, I think we will creep up. So if I go and put my interest box up there, and somewhere here we will probably touch somewhere here before. So those are the two options I've got on that one. And then let's move on to XPX. This XPX, let's move on to gold quickly. So gold is looking very, very bearish on the weekly chart. You can see we had a red candle. So I would expect that maybe we might bounce a little bit. You know, we might maybe do 50% of this candle, or we could go all the way up to here. So I'd expect somewhere here. So if I bring my line somewhere here, and then after that, I would expect us to come back into this box. So gold is bearish for me in the coming week. And then we go into Bitcoin quickly. Bitcoin, and I need the index. Okay, good. So with Bitcoin, we have these triangles that we're following. So we've had a golden cross on the daily chart, so we're following a daily chart. And whenever you have the golden cross, you know, you do quite an extensive move based on the history of Bitcoin. So we had a golden cross here. Before the golden cross on this one, we did 28%. And then after the golden cross, we kind of pulled back and then continued going about 60%, 62%. We've done a 49% move, and then the golden cross is taking place. And when it's taking place, we've pulled back 10%, and we've tried to go, and now we're coming back. What I think is likely to happen is before we get that 60%, I think we probably may come into three key zones here. So we have 102.371 double bottom. We have a potential for us to come to this point here, which is 104.03. And last but not the least is 97. These are the zones that I'm looking for a pullback on Bitcoin. And from here, we should then be heading our way all the way into doing a 65% or 65% move, which take us to about 140, 145,000. So a little bit of a downside into next week, and I think after that, if we hit those targets and we get our kind of bullish divergence forming, then we will know that we'll be heading towards that zone. So that's Bitcoin. I expect small downside before we head off into this big exponential move. So that's all I've got for this for these coins. Tomorrow I'll do the altcoin and also an update on all of these coins tomorrow. On Bitcoin, Bitcoin and altcoins, and also dominance as well. I'll have a look at dominance tomorrow. This is just what I'm doing, guys. So take with a pinch of salt. Is not financial advice. It's for education purposes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you like what we're doing. And of course, you know, click the like button as well. Thank you.